Hi, welcome to my channel and welcome to my video explaining spoon theory. My name's Liz. My channel is called Keto Spoonie. This is because I not only post videos about living a keto lifestyle, but I also share videos of my experiences of living with chronic illnesses such as dermatomyositis, interstitial lung disease, type 2 diabetes, depression, IBS, migraines. I think that's them all. I'm not sure. I mention all of them because they can all affect me differently. So migraines can take me out for a few days. It can affect my energy levels differently to how my energy levels can be affected if I've had a really bad IBS flare up, which again can be different to how, just really suffering with the pain from the DM and the weakness can also affect my energy levels. So they can affect me differently, and they can all sometimes affect me at the same time, which isn't fun. So I mention them all for that reason. So that's what this video is about, just how chronic illness can affect your energy levels and using spoon theory to explain this. So I identify as a spoonie. So you've probably heard that, and this is what it means. A spoonie is basically someone who has a limited amount of spoons energy to use in a day because of their chronic illnesses or illness. So I really just wanted to do this video to help explain what I really mean by this. Spoon theory originates from a personal story told by Christine Miserandino. I'm not sure how you pronounce her name, and I'm really sorry if I'm getting this wrong, but I will post a link in the comments to a video of her explaining spoon theory in her own words. She used this theory to help explain to a friend how her energy levels were impacted with having lupus. So she was sitting in a cafe one day with her friend, and her friend had asked her some questions about living with lupus, and to try and explain it to her, she gathered some spoons from the table. So she wanted to use these to explain how her energy levels are affected by many different factors because of having lupus. So things such as stress levels, quality of sleep and pain. So she gathered all these spoons and she gave the spoons to her friend to hold, because she wanted to use something that would make it a bit more real to her friend. So she wanted to be in control of the spoons, just like lupus was in control of her. So she gave her friend the spoons and she started asking her friend about her day, the things that she did throughout the day. So getting out of bed, so she would take away a spoon. Making breakfast, she would take away a spoon. Eating breakfast, she would take away a spoon. So by the end of the day, her friend would have no spoons left to do all the things that she wanted to do. And so she explained to her friend, that's what life is like for me every day. So just by doing this, her friend was able to realise just what Christine went through on a daily basis. So spoon theory is just an excellent and creative way to really help family and friends understand just what it is like living with chronic illness and how this impacts on your energy levels. So doing too much in one day can leave you short of spoons the following day. So imagine you only had 12 spoons in a day. How would you use them? Take away one spoon if you didn't sleep well last night. Take away another spoon if you missed your medication. You skipped a meal. Take away 4 spoons if you have a cold. So here are some examples of how you might use your spoons in one day. So you might use one for getting out of bed, or for getting dressed, taking medication, or watching TV. You might use 2 spoons to shower or bathe, style your hair, surf the internet, read or study. You might use up 3 spoons by making a meal, making plans and socialising, light housework, or drive somewhere. And you may use 4 spoons by going to work or school, uni, college, go shopping, go to the doctors or the hospital, or do some exercise. So a person has roughly the same amount of spoons every day. A healthy person will have significantly more spoons than someone with chronic illness. Each unit of energy is represented by 1 spoon. So as I've said, some activities cost more spoons than others. So, like example I just gave, it may only take 1 spoon to get out of bed in the morning, but it may take 4 spoons to go shopping. So a person with chronic illness has to make decisions on how best to use their spoons in one day. So ultimately, the illness generally means that it stops them doing many things that they want to do. So for example, recently, because of the good weather, I really, really want to go to the beach. I've been longing to go to the beach for a long time. I haven't been since getting ill. But the worry is, to get to the beach, I have to drive, and it's about a 35-40 minute drive. Which, okay, I could do it on a day where I have some energy. But then I have to be at the beach. And being at the beach, you know, I'm going to have to get out the car, walk to the sand, walk along the sand, sit with my feet in the water. All these things take up energy. And then I would have to drive home. And at the minute, I just wouldn't be able to do all of that. So it really makes me anxious about leaving the house and going to the beach, because I will be too tired to drive home. And it's a tiredness that, it's not like a tiredness, you know, if you're just feeling a bit tired at the end of the day. It's a horrible fatigue that makes you feel sick and just like you're in minus energy. So you really have to choose how you spend your spoons every single day. Chronic illness can also mean that if you do too much in the morning, then you won't have any spoons left to do anything later on in the day. Now this happens frequently with me, and I now have to do most of the things that I want to get done in the morning very early, or there's a chance they may not get done at all. And I get very anxious and stressed about committing to anything that's later in the afternoon. A couple of weeks ago, I was so excited to finally be able to go to the cinema again with it opening up after COVID. But I planned to go and see A Quiet Place 2 when it came out, and I was so excited to see the movie. But I'd booked it to see it with my daughter and her boyfriend at 6:30 at night, I think. And as it got closer, I just started stressing about it. I started getting really anxious about, you know, I'm not going to be able to drive to the cinema, sit through that and then get home at that time of night. So managed to cancel that one and get it a bit earlier in the day. So again, it can also mean doing something in the morning or in the afternoon. So generally can't do both. So for example, again, thinking of the cinema, knowing that I was going out that afternoon, because although I managed to cancel it and bring it forward a bit, it was still 3 in the afternoon. So what I did that morning was very little around the house. Didn't do any housework, just to reserve some energy, reserve some spoons to go to the cinema later that day. You get so well at managing your energy that sometimes it can be confusing to other people. So they can sometimes think, well, how come you were able to come to the cinema, but now you're saying you haven't got the energy to meet me for a coffee? But it's because we've managed our spoons, and some days we will manage them better than others. So it can look like, oh, she's actually fine. You know, she said she's ill, but she's fine. She's out doing this stuff. And how come she's got to stay in bed the next day? Like, what's that all about? And it makes me sad sometimes to see this, because people can be judgy with that. People can say, oh, you know, you're just being lazy, or you're not going out and doing what you can do. You're not pushing yourself. Whereas actually, we really are. We've just really managed to use our spoons as effectively as possible. So our levels of energy and our spoons can fluctuate. So I often say with dermatomyositis, it's like a roller coaster, it's like a lottery. You never know what you're waking up to. Some mornings you can wake up and feel like you have some energy, and other mornings you wake up and you feel like you've been hit by a train. You feel like, you know, you've ran a marathon, there's just no way you're getting out of bed for a long time. Some mornings I get up really, really early. Other mornings I can't get up until later on, because my body is just, I listen to my body these days. So if I'm feeling extremely tired, I won't force myself to get up, because it's just going to have a knock-on effect throughout the day. And I'm probably starting the day with fewer spoons. And I know this is something that all you spoonies can relate to. It's just these different energy levels, and doing something one day can really affect you for days after. So a healthy person typically doesn't have to plan in advance how they're going to spend their spoons, because they don't have an illness that limits them. So I just love spoon theory. I just think it's a great analogy to describe to others how your energy levels are impacted by chronic illness. But it's also a really great way for spoonies to really manage their symptoms and manage how they cope with their energy levels on a daily basis. My next video that I'm going to do in relation to spoon theory really explains this in relation to how we're coming out of lockdown. As lockdown eases, I'm finding that managing my spoons are getting a bit more tricky. So it's that new normal thing, you know, your new normal is just forever changing with chronic illness. That's what I'm finding. And yeah, I've definitely found that easing out of lockdown, there's a lot more things happening. I'm getting out of the house more, and I'm feeling that I'm really having to adjust how I manage my spoons. quite regularly. So thanks very much for watching this short video. It's just something that I really wanted to explain because my channel is called Keto Spoonie. Some people aren't as familiar with spoon theory, so I wanted to explain it, and it's also a great way, if you think this has been helpful, then please share it with friends and family who you think would benefit from understanding just how you manage your energy levels. So feel free to share that, or maybe even try the example yourself with the spoons, and just as Christine did with her friend in the cafe, maybe try that with your friends and family just to see if it helps them understand a bit better, because it is something that's important. It's not nice to be judged by what you can do, what you can't do. So hopefully this will help with that. If you found this helpful, also please do hit subscribe and the notification bell, and then any other videos that I make on this topic, then you'll be notified of it. I do some videos on living a keto lifestyle, but I also do videos on living with chronic illnesses. Some will be more specific to each illness and some will be in general. I'm also over on TikTok and Instagram. So from this Spoonie to you all, I hope you're having a really great day, and I hope that you manage to use your spoons for something fun.